My husband teaches us how to do nice. Just sometimes a little humor
Get your
can
story
get you
out.
through.
Keep it going for Nicole. Who the fuck is the mayor of Santa Monica? I say we don't do the show. I say we get in a fucking van and go find him. I just Googled it. Turns out it's Donald Trump. He is the mayor of Santa Monica. What a fucking sleazeball. I am fired up. I don't know anybody that I've only been here for 18 years. I don't know who represents anybody. Can we just a round of applause for Nicole for putting all of this on? It's so amazing. Such a pleasure to be here. I'm just gonna be very honest with you tonight. Something happened in our email exchange, and I thought you were all teenagers. I thought this was a teenage show. I thought this was a family show of families and like little kids. And I created a story for children. And then I got here and I was like, what the fuck is happening? So listen, had I known it was all gonna be adults, I probably would have shared the story of the first time I slept with a woman. She was on cocaine, I had no idea. And every 3 hours she was cooking a roast. But we'll have to return as a group one day and do that story at another point in time. So I'm just gonna tell the story of what I prepared for younger people. It's an hour and a half. We're just gonna push through. Anyway, this is where I'm at in my life. I should probably read the emails more carefully. I just figured, it was about teenagers, so I'll tell my coming out story, which was apparently in 1912. So we're just gonna do that because it's family, and we all have families, and there's the connection. Okay, good. Let's do this. We're just gonna push through. My mother. I think in order to tell a coming out story, you have to tell you briefly about my parents, Mary and Dick Foley, two of the most awkward people I've ever met in my entire life. Just real sweet people, but just no ability to communicate, at any level, really. That's why I'm up here. And they're lovely. If Nicole obviously was my mother, I would, be a librarian and be happy. But I'm here. No, I do love this. Mary Agnes Kathleen Foley is my mother, and she's a Catholic school teacher. So when I thought about coming out to her, I was like, no. Forever. Forever. And here's the thing about Catholicism. I gave it up because I wanted to be happy. But I respect everybody's faith, but the Irish Catholic, it's like in our family, if you have something like emotional to say or, something to come out, and you don't, right? You grab a beer and you drink it and you fucking push it down until your back goes out. And I did that for about 30 years. So it was just kind of very loving, awkward, non-communicative family. So when typically you're coming out to your parents, again, just pretend you're teenagers. When you're, you plan it, right? You plan it out, and there's, I gotta wait for a Tuesday, and the sun's out, and it's very, but here's the story of how I didn't really get to plan it. It got hijacked by Mary Foley. I was living in Manhattan, and my parents were in Rhode Island at the time, and I was like, all right, I'll just go home to visit my mom for the week, because we are very close. And at one point I was like, all right, I'll tell her I'm gay in 5 to 10 years. So it was on my mind. Thankfully, I have a twin sister and I have an older sister, and they're straight because they took one for the team. So. And we knew with my sisters, we just knew if we it didn't really matter who we dated, if we didn't bring home Jesus, we were fucked, At one point my older sister was dating a Jewish guy, my twin sister was dating a black guy, and I was dating a woman, because we're the coolest sisters alive. And we would play the game, who would horrify our parents more? It's a really great game, you should play it. The order of acceptance was Jewish guy, lesbian, black guy, with an asterisk next to the lesbian. If she was Catholic, she'd trump the Jew. So that was what's shaken down in the Foley family. So I go home for the week, and it's important to know that I was there for 7 days and 7 nights. And the night before, so I was there the entire week. The night before, we're like, all right, let's get a movie. And we were all really into comedies. We were obsessed with Woody Allen before, there was the internet and stuff. And so we go to Blockbuster. This is dating myself. I'm 89. And we go to Blockbuster. This is the point where it was going to be teenagers, and I was going to be like, there was a VHS tape. Anyway, here we go. Okay. So, but you're all adults. So it's fine. I'm sweating profusely. And so we get, we're in the drama section, and we get the movie, and she was like, I think either she picked it, I can't even remember, but it was Boys Don't Cry. I don't know if you remember that movie. Now, if I had known the content of this movie, there's no way in hell I would have rented the movie with my mother, Mary Agnes Kathleen. So we put it in, we start playing it, and I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh my God, oh God, fuck. And if you don't know, it's a tragic, horrible story of a trans man, and Hilary Swank falls in love with Chloe 78, and then it's a tragic, horrible hate crime. And it's my mother. If two people straight couplers kissing on the screen, I'm like, kill me! And then it was Boys Don't Cry. So it was just, I don't know, the most awkward moment of my life. And the movie's over, and I'm crying, and she looks at me, and she's like, wow. And I was like, oh my God, wow. And she goes, you really can't deceive people like that. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, I should have told her that he was a woman, and she just stumbled through the most awkward explanation of everything. And I said, that's what you took from it? Like, that's what you took from it? And she goes, well, no, I mean, it's horrible, it was terrible, it was traumatic, and I go, oh, fine. And I was so angry, and I went to bed, and I was like, I will never come out to her. I will literally never come out to her. And the next morning, it was like 7 a.m., the train was leaving at like 10 a.m., and I'm just eating Raisin Bran. I'll never forget it. And I was eating, and she starts talking to me, and she's like, do you ever go to church? And I was like, where is this going? It's 7 a.m, right? And I was like, no, I said, Mom, we've talked about this before. Like, sometimes I go, and then I just went off on, like, you can have faith if, whatever. I can't remember, just to get out of the conversation. And then she pivots and she goes, okay, and I was doing stand-up in New York, and she goes, are your entertainer friends, that's how she puts it, she goes, are your entertainer friends gay? And I was like, huh? Like, I'm a vaudeville act, just like, I was like, what, my entertainer friends? I was like, I don't know, some of them are gay, some of them are not. And she goes, are you gay? And I was like, oh, shit. And I, just danced around it as an entertainer would. I was like, in the sky and the blah, and just shoving Raisin Bran like it was just a crack. And then she's like, and then she comes back to it, and she's like, are you gay? And I was like, yeah, I'm gay. And then she pauses and she goes, well, what about children? And I was like, I am 23 years old. I was like, I don't know. If I was straight, I wouldn't know, blah, blah, blah. So all this back and forth and kids and stuff. And then she goes, well, I'm devastated. And I said, yeah, I knew you would be. And then she paused and she goes, well, we just got to get that movie back to Blockbuster because I have to drive you to the train station. And I was like, yeah, I got to return the movie. So I just was driving to Blockbuster like, what just happened? What just happened? Like, what's going to happen? And I returned the movie, and I'm trying to get my sisters on the phone, and they're not picking up. And I pull back to the house, and I'm like, is this the moment that's going to change my relationship with my mother forever? And quintessential Irish Catholic style, I walk in the house, and I'm almost shaking, and she goes, Erin, I cut out this article about Billy Crystal and his creative process in the AARP magazine. And I really think you'd love it because it's all, and I'm just like, what is happening? I just said I was gay and you asked about kids. And now she's just like, yeah, Billy Crystal and the AARP. And I was like, and we never talked about it again. Not one conversation ever again. But 6 months later, I was dating this woman, Karen, my first girlfriend. Obviously, we're still in touch. And I'll probably send her the recording. And I said, Mom, can I bring Karen home for Thanksgiving? She was like, yeah, that's no problem. And that's it. Never again. Never spoke about anything. But at the time, there's 1 minute left. I know I got the light. We're wrapping this up. At the time, I hadn't spoken to my dad because he had a kind of like a midlife crisis. Usually men in midlife, they get, a hooker or a Corvette. He decided to go from a salesman to commercial fisherman. Oh, God. Those are some good times in our family. So he was out on a fishing boat for months at a time. Suddenly. And so I never had like a conversation with him, but I naturally assumed that my mother had spoken to my father. So then like a year goes by, and my dad calls me up. He's like, "Hey kid, what's going on for you this weekend?" And I go, "Oh, well, Dad, like I'm my girlfriend Karen, like we're moving in together." And he goes, "Right." And this is what he did. And I think it was 5 minutes. It could have been 30 seconds. He goes, "Right, yes, yep, right, yep, yeah, got it, yes, yep, that's right, okay, yep, And I'm like, it felt like an hour and a half of just like, yep, that's correct, yep, And I was like, and I hung up the phone, and Karen's looking at me, and I go, "I think I just came out to my dad?" The most awkward. Anyway, they loved all my partners. They're really sweet. And then I was going to have a touching conclusion for teenagers, but I think we all get it. Parents are just doing the best they can, really. And happy Pride.